The two women are Mary and her cousin Elizabeth. Both women are pregnant, Mary with Jesus, of course, and Elizabeth with John the Baptist. Now, as far as I can tell, today's gospel is the only scene in any of the gospels where two women speak to one another without an adult male being present. This alone should pique our curiosity, but that's for another day. Today, this gospel scene needs to be more carefully considered. It is really Elizabeth on which the scene centers. Earlier in the gospel, the angel Gabriel told Mary that Elizabeth, who was advanced in age and unable to have children, was now pregnant and in her 6th month. We can imagine in these circumstances that Elizabeth had many fears about her pregnancy. The worries of every mother were intensified in her case because of her age and because of the times in which she lived. Would her baby live? Would it be healthy? Would she be able to deliver him successfully? Would she die during childbirth? Without a doubt, it was probably in light of these kinds of fears that Mary set out in haste to be with her cousin during a potentially difficult pregnancy. We take issues of life and death for granted so often in today's world, and we forget that life is delicate and vulnerable. Life is truly precious. Now, all these details are important to understand when we come to the central focus of the scene. And that focus is not Mary entering the house. That focus is not Mary's greeting. The central focus of this gospel passage is a movement. Yes, a simple surprise movement. It is the movement of John the Baptist in his mother's womb. It is a movement that only a mother can feel. And it is very likely that it was at Mary's first visit that Elizabeth first felt the child move within her. Now, at this point, there should really be a mother up here giving this homily, because only a mother can describe what it feels like to have life move within you. Only a mother can describe the joy in knowing that your baby is alive, not just because your body is changing, not just because a doctor told you so, but because you can feel that life moving in your very being. Realizing that the scene is about that surprise movement, that leap for joy, allows us to understand that this visitation account is shared with us as an invitation to hope. It tells us that in uncertain, difficult circumstances, we can have reason to trust that things will turn out well because of small but certain movements of life that we see, that we feel. So we all have problems in our families, and we often focus on them. We worry about our children, or about our parents, about our spouse, about our siblings, even extended family members. And it seems like the holy days only amplify our concerns. Will we be able to celebrate even when one of the family is fighting cancer? Will we be able to find joy even though one of the family members has passed on and we still grieve? What about our family members who are miles away from us, who are not going to be able to be with us because of work or military service? What about that family member who seems miles away from us, even though they're just sitting right across the dinner table from us? We just can't reach them, no matter how hard we try. But this gospel tells us that amid these valid concerns, we should wait for and identify movements of life. Who is the person in our family that always makes us smile? When have we been proud of what one of our children has accomplished? When have we felt concern and help from someone who loves us? When have we been blessed to witness an unselfish act of kindness from one person to another? What about that amazing moment when we feel loved and are able to love back? We should not pass over these movements of life. We should treasure them as a mother who's pregnant recognizes the movement of life within her and sees it as a promised hope of a future that is coming to fulfillment. See those moments of life, the stirrings of life in your family and in your world, and don't let them pass by. They are truly God's way of reminding us that goodness is growing around us and goodness is growing within us. The four candles remind us that even in life's darkest moment, a light breaks forth. The gospel reminds us a baby leaps for joy in the womb. Well, because Emmanuel. God invites us, the gospel invites us to know and believe what St. John the Baptist knew in his mother's womb, that God is with us. Emmanuel.